this day. We talked about a Pan sealed, the Premier New Hope sealed, and made a deck, played a game. And now we try the same thing for episode 1. Episode 1 sealed is relatively new. Yeah, but it's fun. It has a little bit different approach to the stuff because you have objectives. It's really hard to draft all cards which you need for that objective. And yeah, you have pod racing. So you might get the cards for pod racing, which I don't like personally, but some players may like it. I think it's a little bit unbalanced because it's this swing with you retrieve 6, you lose 6, or maybe 11 if Waters Box is out. It's a little bit hard if you only have a 40 card deck. But yeah. So let's make a deck. Cards to look out for, I make here while playing because there are not so many blowout cards within Pan Sealed. And furthermore, I'm much more experienced Pan Sealed player than episode 1. But just that you see this format too. We select episode 1 sealed here. And if you're registered to that league in the forum, you will get the cards, which are fixed cards. So let's look at them. Everybody gets Aura Sing. Everybody gets Anakin's Pod Racer. Everybody gets Zebulba's Pod Racer. So if you get the cards for pod racing, that you at least have, a pod racer to race with. And you should always put one in your deck, even if you don't play pod racing, because your opponent could play pod racing. These are the fixed cards. And the Senate. And Senate is one of the easiest objectives to get the cards for, because you only need the objective. And then you have the Senate right here. Everybody gets them all. And everybody gets an Obi-Wan. Also, this one is really nice to have because you can take them away from reserve deck, and it's an used interrupt where you can subtract 1 from a destiny draw. I think it's a battle destiny draw. Let's check that one. Yeah, battle destiny. No weapon destiny, something like that. So let's open the packs. Let's build a deck. And let's play a game if someone wants to join. Select packs. You get 5 of every episode 1. Episode 1 expansion. And I think you get 5 additional ones in season 2. So every sealed league are 2 seasons. You normally have around 10 to 20 games per season. It depends on the mood of Bad Mouse. So the last Pan Seal season were only 10 games. So 5 per side. And the ones before were 20 games per season. So here we have 20 games. So it's 10 per side in this season. And when we reach this date, we get to see Series 2, which are an additional 20 games. It's a lot more grinding, and you can basically get a top place if you only play all games, because not many players will play 40 games in that league. So let's open them. That's always nice to get one of those. It lets you start an effect, but you have to get an effect. These are nice. At Naboo system, if with opponent's battleship you subtract one of their destiny draws, and the battleship is basically almost the only ship he can get a battle destiny. There is also other ship where he needs ability of 4, but the battleship normally draws if with a starfighter, at least not the blockade flagship, but the non-unique battleship. So yeah, here political effects, which can be nice, but keep in mind if you don't have the Senate, the objective, you can't deploy them from there. So if you put someone there, he's basically a lost force. Shouldn't play that. So we have some senators. We get the objective. I would make a senator deck. If not, if we have good ships. Oh, what objective? It's nice for activation if you get the sides, but if you don't have Vado, you can only train for 1. Because opponent loses no more than 1 force from a force drain, and he can drain you for 2 at the junkyard, and you have to defend it. So, and you give him 2 activation with your sides. So I played it when I didn't have Vado, but I don't think it's worth it. We have good senators. This one is really great. We get a water. So nice. We need the junkyard. We have Mos Espa here. And the interrupts you want to have are, how is it called? Changing the odds, which lets you either subtract one of the opponent's destinies, it's a light side card, or if you verify his deck, you can remove one of his interrupts from the game, put out of play. Give me a junkyard. Sometimes the cards come here. With that card, you can also remove a card from opponent's reserve deck if you get a verify. That's a dark side card. So we could play pod racing, probably. We have pod race arena, we have Ponte Eva, pod race. I mean, I could play it, showcase how boring it is, but don't think we got a junkyard. But another mall, nice. There you could get invasion. That's a nice side. You could pull if you get Visa got a grander army. Let's see if we can build a decent deck. It's a little bit more diverse than Premier New Hope Sealed. You have more options to build decks, but it also is a little bit more imbalanced than Premier New Hope Sealed. Maze Window, nice. This interrupt is good too if you can pull one of your fighters here, but you need pilots. Most of the time it's a problem to get the pilots. Take them away. That's good to have because we can pull it with our character. And that's the ship I talked about earlier, where you could get to 4 ability to draw a destiny. So I don't think we are good in space with dark. I'm not pretty sure. Last time I had a lot of dark ships, this time not. So I did build a deck around that. Only systems, and then I had the effect where if I occupy 2 systems and my opponent occupies none, he loses a force at each of his move phase, draw phase, I think. It's basically search and destroy for systems. Let's start dark first, and I want to see if I could play my water objective. Was Esper, and no. Unfortunate. So I take a little bit a different approach here now, which I most of the time making cube sealed because there are so many good cards. I put more cards in than in pound sealed, and then I remove the cards I don't want to play. Do we want to play? Do we want to be lame? No, I don't want. I just put in and stuff later. It's not the V drop, so it's not that good. Maybe we have a starting interrupt. Maybe we start that one. Let's just put in the sides and then we decide which one do we want to play. A pot racer, as I said, to protect against their potential pot raising. Here is a starting interrupt you want to play if you want to play pot raising. So you need pot race arena, which we have, a pot racer, which we have, and Ponte Eva pot race, which we have, and any effect which deploys free. And you need this effect. If you don't have an effect which deploys free, you can't play pot racing. Yeah, happens to some players happened to some players before. So we could build a deck around that. We could put Vatos Box as our free interrupt. It's a 22 force swing, so we could just put him some crazy destinies, and like I can filter after I did that and show what we could do. Not many ships, but so we might play Vatos Chunk. We don't have him. So here Vatos Box adds 5 to pot racing, to the damage and to the retrieval. We also have Vatos Box. We need Vatos Junkyard in Season 2. So that's a good effect to start. So now we could do the pot racing, filter, let's say, all destinies greater than, and put all that stuff in. But we don't have many good destinies, so it even maybe doesn't even worth it. So I save, call it and that's a shitty deck. We have to tweak that now. But I reload it. I think we had a bad draft this time. So now it's in order. We have much too many characters and really crappy destiny. We also have to decide if we are better on ground or better in space. We have some of these ships which are strong in space. I don't want him to train me for... That's not the worst starting location. Do we have a location which is... doesn't give away any icons? No, don't have that. So if I'm play Coruscant, I'm stuck at Coruscant because I have only hyperspeed 3, so don't play that. We have some malls, so we could make use of this. We can afford. Do not play him on ground. And drain for 2. We have the mall where he needs ability greater 3. Also nice. Lois. Discount to Tatooine. I think we might even start a system here. Hako and Gunray. How many Hackers and Gunray do we have? Gunray. One Gunray. Every light side has some Amidallas. There are several personas of Amidala. Padme. I can think about 3 which could be in his deck, so he could possibly drain here for 2, but not always. Battle plans are always nice to have, but you give up 2 sides, 2 icons, but you can drain for 2. Normally, this is also nice to have, but I think in this case, most of the time Light runs it too because all their ships have bonuses at Naboo. Not quite sure what to do. I think, but Light side play that. Don't want that. It's a drain of 2 against me. Not a good deck. Let's see if we have any good interrupts we could put in, but I haven't seen. We don't need Chase Fire because there are not many weapons in this format. Sometimes you get lucky and draft one, but usually not, so I don't think it's worth it. Maul Strikes is really nice to have. Bad. I might just put this one in. Only because we have Wado. And if I can track the Even Destiny, many of our druids have Destiny 2, so we have a bunch of Even Destiny. I can add one, and it's a Destiny 5. I need some Destiny. Now we have to cut 5 cards. It's shitty for forfeit, but it's a ability 4 character which draws on his own. Not bad, but do I have any druid which draws with another if not able to otherwise? Because if I don't have that, I don't need any of those druids. They have most of the time good forfeit. Undercover Spy, good to have. Cut 4. We only have one. No, we have some pilots. Don't need that because we start that. Oh, only one. It's a Destiny 1. Don't want too many Destiny 1s in deck because with changing the odds, a 1 becomes a 0. We don't have Halt, but actually so we start that one, pull that one, which gives up a drain of 1 only, usually if no smuggler here, and hope to get this one in hand and play it if we're relatively sure to have high ground in space. And it's a really good forfeit. It's not so good. Okay. See, up. Let's refresh and someone wants to join. Normally, while I have this game up, I work on the second deck. Oh, someone already joined. I never would start that, because it gives me plenty of activation. But maybe, yeah, some synergy with it, yeah. But we have our undercover spy. So let's stack. He shall stack here. But Weezer got a Grand Army, can destroy an undercover spy, and maybe he has that one. So we will see how this turns out. Vato is basically useless here, stack, but it's not, doesn't have any bad stats. Expect a lot of gun guns here. Let's pull the battleground, which is also possible in, and I mean, I could pull the 2-2. We have a ship in hand, but I'd rather pump my activation, don't get him too much icons as long as he's behind. So normally we have the undercover spy. I might even not go there, but he has only 5 activation. So we might just put on some pressure. And be aggressive. I like to be aggressive, because it usually opponent doesn't like to get pressured and makes mistakes, plays risky. Or even if I get some overflow, if he attacks me and overflows me with some force, it's not that big of a deal. If I maybe can counterbeat him then, because it's unlikely that he can attack, doesn't lose anything, and then has still 4 ability. Or I can put my undercover spy there, and yeah. So let's see which system or side he pulls. Let's retrieve. Let's let him retrieve. I don't know why he played that. So you can choose if he can retrieve 2 and I can retrieve 1, or he retrieves 3 and I retrieve 1, or he activates 4 and I activate 2. But he has only 1 in lost pile, so he plays a lost interrupt. Has again 1 card in lost pile, and I retrieve the card I have. So I don't know what this was about. He could, maybe he thought I can choose and he can choose himself, so he would have chosen the activation, because yeah, he's low on activation, but that's not how this card works. I can decide. So he gives me a drain of 2. So now with, if he can pull some stuff, or he can make me use one, let me use one force. It's a nice card. Bastion, which a 3-time world champion uses it in open even in his Agent of the Court deck. Agent of the Court? The light side. Objective. So he drew everything. He hasn't saved anything, so he still has only 7 force. I think Obi-Wan has a discount on Naboo and costs only 5. So we have to make a decision here. I think I have to back that up. My droids don't draw on their own, but they have nice power. I think even if he goes here or here, he only drains for 1. We win the drain race, and that's often enough in sealed. And if he goes here, we have that one to counter. We have enough force to play it. We might even save a bunch. Let's some power here. Yeah, see. He could also have the energy shield, which he can pull. We can pull Vados box, which was active. Then we pull it next turn, or it's still active and I draw it. Not Vados box, Vados cube. That's why you usually don't want to give up a verify, because of that card. Yeah, was a mistake. Don't need it. Why did I do it? So what is a remove? I would remove take them away, probably. I haven't checked if it was in reserve. So that doesn't bother me. Would have loved to grab that. The grab effects are also in these sets. So if you're lucky, you get I don't know the name of them. Again. So now let's activate. I don't want to let him retrieve. Good that we backed up here. He shouldn't have used that before my draw phase. Should have used it later, because yeah, that's enough. Let's save 1 and we activate 1 with wipe. I can go to space. I can go. Can back up ground. Yeah, builds it up. Because now I was able to draw more than I would have been able to draw. I'm not a fan of that card. I was right. 5 force, power 6. Good that we backed up. So if it wasn't for there, I might have even thought about using that one to add destinies to crack the immunity, but we should be able. Hopefully we at least draw a 3. And now we need We get rid of one character. If he can't play changing the odds. Yes, he can. He played it in my turn, so he can have another one. But we get at least rid of one guy here. If he doesn't have changing the odds and we don't play a drain, okay, he doesn't attack at all. I'm okay with that one. So we have to make decision. I don't think it's worth fighting. He has a Gangan here, so he probably could have reason to make them lost, the undercover spy lost. So I think what I'm gonna do, that was, should have just deployed auras there, but I don't like making rewards if I make a mistake. And I want that in space probably. So yeah. Was a lost force. I walk over here. Was shouldn't have played that way, but doesn't matter in the end. Hopefully. That's good. So this one has a discount on Naboo for 6 force. And he has a discount too, and he is power +2 if with Maul. But we have here, if Maul in a battle with a Jedi at 1 battle destiny, and this one is a Jedi. So we could also use him here, but it costs too much to get him here just for the drain bonus. So I rather use this one here, and if I draw the other one, I can. Oh. I think this one is really good forfeit. Yeah. Don't like using Watto's box here because get at least rid of this one. And if you draw higher than, if you draw 3, we get at least rid of this one because this one is only forfeit 2. And yeah, I want to make him lose. If I can drag Even Destiny, I would use it for sure. Sometimes it's nice to have a Tarkin's Bounty on Tarkin in open format. Look at your own deck, see if it's even, and then. So we get rid of this one because he doesn't want to lose that or that. And this one covers the 5 damage, so this fight did hurt him more than it did hurt me, and we can drain for 2. And let's make that game until the game is finished. So I drain and back up this one. There's no need for me to fight there. I let him fight. Let him use the force to fight me. Same like in Pawn Sealed, no battle order, no shields. So you can drain everywhere, even at non-battleground sites. And so sometimes it's good to walk into the non-battleground sites because, yeah, if he follows you, he can't drain next turn because he wouldn't make any damage draining there. Up. And I think I don't even draw much here. Maybe one card. Because I have enough things in space and on ground to back everything up, make pressure. So if I draw one, I activate one in his turn. That's nice to get. And so have 3, 11 next turn. Another card, which only adds to power if he's defending the battle, but I won't attack him. So, yeah. And shitty forfeit, really good power. And if he wants to move them away, he has to use +2 force. So it's written there. So probably he walks over there to block that drain. No, he doesn't. Okay. So if I were him, I would have probably went there and attacked and then moved after I killed this one over. But he decides not to. Or move one guy over here. I can't attack there. It would be suicide because he would be +8 if I attack there. We just so he has one visa. So it's good that I didn't deploy my undercover spy there. 1, 2 pilots. And we know he has. I think he pulled one of these ships at the start. We don't want to be much behind in power here, because I only want to lose that much character which forfeit I have to lose. But we could increase the damage output by at least 1. And come down. Can't deploy that here. I could deploy that here, but I rather want to increase my power there. This one is a really tricky one. Because It doesn't draw on its own, but it draws if with any starfighter. So this one is a starfighter, but also all opponents' ships. I think all are starfighter, and often the opponent player forgets that this ship draws a battle destiny if he attacks me if his ship is a starfighter, which are basically all. So this draws on its own, but I added that one in to hope if he attacks, it doesn't draw higher than 3, that I still have presence there and could make a counter beat with forfeit fodder. Maybe this one, which makes it immune to attrition less than 4. I have seen we saw a lot of characters in his reserve deck when we got the verify, so he might not even have that great destinies. So if I were him, I would have started that one and pulled that one if that's the only side he plays, because you don't go down there turn 1, and most of the time. And he gave me 1 icon more than he should have. But a matter of taste. So if he saves some, it's time to back stuff. Yeah, he saved some force, so he wants to make a move. His strongest character, he could only have Qui-Gon. If Qui-Gon comes down here, I just let him drain for 1. I'm far ahead. So what I'm gonna do is I want to save my damage output without letting him make more damage than I do. So we go down with Gunray here, which covers 6 forfeit, and let me take them away. And we're gonna put that one here to, if he attacks, we can still survive in space. We won't get any overflow for sure, but I don't want to I don't want to give him control of that Tatooine. So I'm waiting for his turn now before I pull my take them away, because I don't want to give in another verify. He could have drawn his what is it called? Changing the odds. This moment. I like him attacking here, so I move someone over to encourage the attack and have some power 0 anyway, because I can add 1 here. And it costs a force for him to attack. So this is a great great card. We have the Naboo system. If we put them here, he can control Naboo. We can reduce the force train by 2 anytime, or we can stack everything at Naboo, drain for 2, and reduce the force train here, which is in 2 parsec in range, by 2. Really great cards to draft. And you can pull him with a blockade flagship, which is a fixed card. You can pull 1, how is it called? Namodian once per game. I should have that before I activate the one force, because now I increase the chance that this one force I activated is might take them away. But it's not. But that are small mistakes which can have influence in the game. So what he should do, he should move someone over here. Can't take the drain there, and this one cover a lot of power if I attack him. Quite a fleet. Great pilot if he would have other ships here. So that Bravo 2. At this moment, if he walks over, we make no point of damage. Then we have to do something to get the damage rolling. But he has only 2 cards in hand, so I can back up. He can't back up. So if we get rid of one of his characters here, this is about. Don't want to gamble. We might, if we are far behind, we sometimes need to gamble, but if we are not far behind, so it's a drain of. So if he doesn't attack somewhere else, but if he attacks here too, I save that one because 1 or 2 it doesn't make any difference. So if he has changing shots, he should use it, yes, because he only loses 1 of his cards now. So they don't draw. He adds 1. So the changing the odds didn't do anything because this druid adds 1 to my destiny. I could cancel even the immunity of one of his Jedis with this druid, so maybe I even just lose this one. He has less power, I have enough forfeit, and I also have Maul here, which always would draw destiny. But we only attack there if he moves away. She doesn't. So I could decide not to attack at all, but I have enough stuff here to back up space, and he doesn't, so we might also just get rid of some of his stuff here. Let's hope we just don't draw our Naboo system. I think I check now. No, if I check, he would use his changing the odds, which would be not that bad because he couldn't use it in battle. But I know that my destiny I drew, which are the bottom now, are 1 and 2. And if I shuffle, I increase the chance of drawing the 1 or the 2. So just drain there. Forfeit fodder. Can also try to hit his ship here with that one. And I think to hit that one or that. We just tried. It's a used interrupt, and it gives puts the 5 back. If I draw low, it's everything fine. We don't draw that for destiny. It only sucks if we draw much less now. So we can draw 2 and decide which one we use. So even if we draw the 0, it doesn't matter. I take that. He subtracts 1 with this ship. Let's just use it because we can pull it anyway next turn. And I want to shuffle anyway because my 2 and 1 destiny are on top. Did he do? Why did he forfeit? Okay, he wants to... But he could have forfeited him and the ship, pull something here and land. Whatever. There's our system. So now that we got rid of his whole space package, I think we could play risky and fly here with that one. They don't have hyper space. We could embark them and fly over, but I'm happy with that damage I make. I have enough cards. I have no problem losing from hand. So let's first pull that one. Let's see if we have a druid here. Let's pull the druid. I take the lower destiny. Does he draw if not able to otherwise? No, at once. But we don't. We have a second. We might even want. Does he draw if not able to otherwise? So we take that one who adds to the destiny, and which has a lower destiny. We draw it. activate one. So we have to draw some more cards to get down to 9 cards that we can cycle our 5, or take them away, and maybe even don't pull it, but draw it for destiny. If we want to battle, but I don't think we need at this point. No gambling. He won't attack with another one, so let's just reduce. We can pull it to verify our reserve deck, because we won't come down to. So it's again a 3, because we add 1. He again has to lose at least this one, not one of his power 0 attackers. I think it might be bad because of the Vatos chance cube, but I like having them to go down there to increase. We won't lose this game, so I can hurry up the game by. Or we can also shuttle down. Let's hurry up a bit. No way that we can lose this one. What do we have left? There are some decent destinies. At this point, he's so low on force that he can't make any beatdown anywhere. So this is still tricky. You could have a pilot, so we can't fly over here, but we can't make use of the additional 2 activation, and we can activate down to whatever card we want. Do this. Another thing damage. So we know we have at least a 3, because we have a 2, 5, 5, 4. And this one adds again. So we get at least rid of this one adds. Of both of these. We could possibly have a 6 if we get the 5, one of the 5s plus the 1, and we can reduce him to 1, so we probably only lose one of these, which we can put down again. Now you could make a little bit of, just lose both of these, or peel some, probably peel some. We can also move over and put our undercover spy there. He could have Visa, but I think he would have lost it from hand. There's no need in saving it. That's our 6. I have another one of these. So I think profit. Don't think the adding of 1 is cumulative. So I don't think we get 2 if we have 2 of those, but I could be wrong. But just lose. Both of them are of no use now. So we might even attack now. We know where the 5 is. We can activate down to that. Just for the fun of it. It's once per battle or once per battle? GG. Works. So one of them is my take them away, which I take in hand. And the other one is the other 5. He wrote GG, but it didn't concede. So maybe. But I just get him down to 1 if he peels from reserve. Let's just attack. Can use 1 force to cancel the immunity, but it doesn't matter. We crack the immunity anyway. So good to have this interrupt here, which you can pull. Not only does it subtract 1, it also gives you a verify of your reserve deck each turn, a safe verify where he cannot use changing the odds. Conceded. No, depleted life force. Okay. So let's make. I don't think you need to make a light set deck now. I think you saw enough of it. I do just do a deck, but I don't play another game. So We have much better destinies here. Just put all good destinies in here and then see how much I need to cut these. Two. Got all ships. Destiny 6. Don't. It's nice for Destiny. You won't get Tarpal very often, but yeah, I think there are enough good cards that we don't need to play this, and we don't have the Senate objective, so we don't need that one. If we have Vatos Junkyard, it's nice to have this, so I put it in and maybe cut it later if I don't have it. I put this one in, depending on how much Amidalas I have, and maybe they can walk for free, they can move for free, and if Amidala is riding, I add one destiny. So we will see. That's sometimes nice to have if your use pile card has a high destiny, but also a card I probably will cut. If I have a nice ship, many ships, this effect is really nice, which is the search and destroy for systems. Losing track, you give them basically a card back on reserve, but it's a Destiny 6 used interrupt. But if he has something to shuffle his deck, like the Gunray, you give him a force back and then he will shuffle his deck to get the low destiny back in deck. But I put two in and maybe and probably cut some of them later. So it's also always nice to take a Senator into hand and also to start her effect. All unique characters, and we can watch later, which is good. Pot race prep, we don't want to pot race. We have two Amidalas, so we can make use of this one. They are both personas of Amidala. That good. See how many we have of those, and we need a good starting effect. Do we have the junkyard? We have some Jedis to pull. That's not that bad because it also cancels hot race collision, which can put an interrupt out of play if you give him a verify. And if he happens to have Maul's lightsaber, it's also nice to have that one to make him use 2 force. So if you have good space package, you could play this one to start a system and then pump your activation. We don't have that many Gunkins. It was a nice card to have for him, but for us, so only 4 cards to cut. So we can't say, oh, we have so many good cards. What do I need to cut? It's not very difficult to cut 4 cards. In Cube, you get so many good cards. It's basically the art to which 45 in Cube. There are 45 cards you want to play. I start most of the time with 80 cards there. Here I have only 44. So let's see. Usually you don't get drained for 3. So if we happen to play against pot racing, that one. No, I don't. We start one of these, we pull this. Then we have still floating zeros in the deck, which sucks. But normally, if you get Visa, you can pull that one. We don't have that. But it's still nice to get some activation, so I might let it in. And how many Republic characters do we have? One. It's not. I think I start that one with this one. Do we have any senator to grab here? Doesn't count as a senator. The leader. I'm not pretty sure how much. One. I mean, this one is not bad. He has good for forfeit, and this one he draws if not able to otherwise. So I think I'll let them in. Let's just save again. And then we have a little bit better overview or cards. So we don't have Rick. And this ship is good, but it's very expensive. And if you don't have Rick, it has no permanent pilot. I don't know how many pilots do I have. 1, 2, 3. Only 3. So I have enough ships where I can put my pilots here. I can put my pilot here and here. Do we have a matching pilot? Raya. This Raya. No. We have Dolphy. No, Arven. Don't know the names. So no matching ships. Doesn't matter. So we don't have any junkyard. So we are good to go. I think I'm gonna play another one. If someone joins fast, I play the light side. If not, if in 2 minutes nobody joined, we finish the stream here. No OCS game. Didn't we play him in sealed? So you see, it's not very difficult to make a sealed deck. Takes about 5 to 10 minutes. It's a little bit harder when season 2 starts and you get another bunch boosters. Then it gets tricky to cut down to 40 cards because yeah, you have a lot of good cards which you can add, and yeah, you might have to cut good cards.